This is A.D. Roberts. Welcome to Better Is Now, the podcast. I believe we live in a world filled with limitless possibilities, and in this world we are all looking to feel, do, and to be better. From that limitlessness, gentle nudges arise to remind us of our own possibilities. Today's nudge is about to begin right now.
Hey, my friends, and welcome to another edition of Better Is Now, the podcast. You know, as we end this year, this is we're counting down to the last few days of 2021. And, let's just say congratulations, you made it. If you're listening to this podcast, you have made it. You survived one of the toughest years that many of us have faced. With the pandemic still going and the Omicron variant that's out there, and, people taking all types of hits, financially, emotionally, mentally, even spiritually. But you're still here. And so let's celebrate that fact. And as we're pushing over into 2022, we should be excited about the possibilities. And that's what I want to talk about today. Really is about how you look at life moving forward from here to there. Our topic today is investing in you, selling out to your dreams. And I think it's appropriate because, we always, as we enter into this season, into the new year, we have the whole new year, new me thing. It's coming. We're going to see the post. We're going to hear all of that stuff. We're going to hear it. And that's just the nature of the beast. But I really want us to hold on to it, because I had a moment this morning as I was preparing for us taping the podcast. And I looked around at my life, and I looked around at everything that was happening, and I realized how much of the things that I had written down, how many of the things that I said that I wanted to accomplish in 2021, I'd actually done. Because sometimes when you're in the thick of things and you're just constantly doing and you're just moving along, you don't take an assessment. And, this time of year is always great for reflection. It's always great for, taking a moment to kind of assess where you've been, what you've done, what you could do better, and all of that stuff. And many of us do that. And if you're listening to this podcast, you're definitely one of those people. So, it was a magical feeling though, because, I always advocate that we live in a world that is one that's made up of our own mind in so many ways. That everything is vibration, and everything is energy, and everything is subject to us. Everything is subject to the projection that we send out into the universe, and then what we get back and how we interpret it and how we define it. That's a better word, how we define it. And so as I just kind of looked around, and I realized how amazing life is and how well the universe responds to what you ask for. The universe is always responding. The universe is always answering when you want to do something. And especially if that something has nothing to do with you, that other people are benefiting from it. But today's talk is about you, and about you investing in you and selling out, because it wasn't until I truly began to cut things off, eliminate projects that were not in alignment with the thing that I had chosen for my life, relationships that were no longer serving my life and my passion and my purpose, activities that weren't leading me to that place that I always wanted to be. So it wasn't until then that that I really, really started to see, again and again, the universe kind of rallying with me and say, yes, you're moving in the right direction. Yes, you're moving in the right direction. And all of that is because some of the noise had quieted down in my life. And so one of the things that you have to do is, as you're in this space and time, allow the noise of your life to quiet down so you can hear whether you're on task or you aren't. If you're on point and moving in the right direction or you're not. And the beautiful thing about, when you're in tune with life and in tune with the universe, it will give you gentle nudges and constantly remind you, yes, this is where you are. Yes, you're in the right place. Yes, you're doing the right thing. And your gut will tell you over and over, yes, you're doing the right thing. Yes, you're moving in the right direction. Or no, you aren't. Because your gut will feel uncomfortable. So with all of that being said, with intentionality, let's move into investing in you. What are you going to do this year for you? And how are you going to do that? What are you going to do? How are you going to invest in you? And that's the biggest thing. Focus on investing in your life, the best version of you. And I know that when you start to go into places where you're trying to manifest dreams and you're trying to live that manifestation, I know that it can be scary. Let's just be flat out honest. I know it can be scary. But here's the thing. You have to understand that we're programmed to be cautious because this experience is temporary. This life that we're having, this avatar that I'm walking around, with right now, I know that at some point in time, it's going to expire. And as it expires, this AD will no longer exist, except for the works that I've done. Hopefully they'll live on in the books that I've written and the lives that I've touched and all of that kind of stuff. But here's the cool thing. Though we are programmed to be cautious because this is a finite existence, there is an infinite part of us that wants to express itself. And as it expresses itself, it in of itself should help to free you from the bondage of being afraid. The infinite part of you that lasts forever, that is eternal, that is forever. It wants to express something through you. It wants to speak through you. It wants to build through you. It wants to create. And you are the perfect vessel for it. And because you're the perfect vessel for it, I want you to understand that necessary cautiousness that you deal with, that programming that you deal with because you identify mostly with the finite version of you, is understandable. But when you start to identify with the side of you that is infinite, then the fear that you would normally walk in begins to disappear because the infinite side of you is just that, infinite. It doesn't have those fears. It doesn't have those trepidations because it understands and it knows. It knows and it walks the path of something that is infinite. So there's no fear. There's no doubt. There's no anxiety. There's just the experience of the thing. So whatever it is that you've seen the vision for your life, don't be afraid. Forget the programming because of the finite version of yourself. Forget that. We all have allowed past trauma too. Now I'm gonna give you a little pass on this. We've also, part of the programming comes from past trauma, past hurts, past pains, past failures. So when we begin to say, okay, I'm going to move into a new territory, I'm going to go after, launching a new business, or go get a new job, a new relationship, whatever that new thing is, whatever this version of you that you're marching towards. Sometimes the programming has been infected by trauma that happened to us in the past. But I want to remind you that That was in the past. And this is the present moment. In the present moment, this is where your power lies. The present moment is where your power lies. The present moment is where your strength is. The present moment is where you're able to plant the seeds for the future version of yourself. So, sacrificing the power of the present moment by holding on to those past traumas, those people who disappointed you, those relationships that failed, the business that didn't go so well, the monies that you lost. Stop rehashing those old stories, because when you rehash those old stories, you rehash old feelings. And when you rehash old feelings, you're training your body to respond in a negative way. You're training your body because the emotions of your body are constantly speaking to you. And the emotions of your body is speaking to your entire body. And what I mean by that is that your very being, your physical being, is subject to how you feel. And it has so much of an effect, whether it's a positive or a negative effect. It affects us biochemically and all of that stuff. That's another talk. But I want you to understand that as you are delving into these new areas and you're feeling the trepidation and you're afraid because you've been hurt before or you failed at this before, I want you to realize that the present moment, the only value in the past for the present moment is that you learn some type of a lesson that will give you the ability to move forward and that will guide you along this path of creating the miraculous. Because in spite of what you've seen, in spite of what you've dealt with, in spite of what you've gone through, you are moving beyond that. Because see, you got to remember something too. As we have this experience and as we grow in this experience, our growth many times is predicated by what we've gone through, because what we've gone through makes us stronger. And as we face that resistance, our muscles get stronger and we get bigger. And so that's what happens to you in this moment. You have the ability to choose whether you're going to focus on that what happened to you in the past as something that had to happen, needed to happen, so that you could be here now in this present moment to push beyond it and to empower yourself and to empower other people, whatever that goal is, whatever that passion is for you. So I said all that to say, you don't have to be afraid. I know, but you don't have to be afraid. Have courage and move forward. So have courage, have faith, and believe in the process. So having courage means stepping beyond yourself, stepping beyond the trauma, stepping beyond the place that's known into the unknown, stepping into the face of fear, something that normally would frighten you. You now have the unmitigated gall to stand up and face it head on. And as you stand up and you face it head on, it puts you in this posture to where you're unstoppable. Because that's what courage is. It's in the face of adversity, you choose to keep moving. In the face of adversity, you choose to keep moving. You choose to keep creating. You choose to keep doing the thing that you have seen in your heart to do. That's courage. And faith is understanding that though what you're looking for hasn't manifested itself yet, it's knowing that it will manifest itself. Faith knows that the things that you have not seen, the things that have not manifested themselves yet, the things that have not materialized, you believe, you know within yourself that the possibility for it to manifest is there. That everything that everything will always work out collectively for your good and for what it is you're trying to do. You may not see it at the time when you're having that rough moment or that rough spell. You may not see it, but I can tell you right now that that is exactly what you do when you exercise your faith. Faith is an action. Faith is a movement. Faith is the step that you take when you can't see what's in front of you. Faith is the deep plunge. That first time you decide to go swimming as a kid. Faith. It's hard to have faith without trust. Trust the process. Trust your journey. Trust your process and trust your journey. Have faith that everything will be all right. And believe in yourself and believe in the vision that you've seen for yourself. Have faith and believe in the vision that you have seen. And when you hold on to these things, when you hold on to courage, you hold on to faith, and you hold on to the belief that you have about the success or the end, that's what you do. You begin to operate. It gives you the liberty and the latitude and the power to operate from the end, because that's how God creates. From the end. Creators create from the end. Writers write stories from the end and then work backwards. They see the end, they see the manifestations, they see the goal, they see the fruit, and then they back up and begin to do the work. And that's what you're doing now. You're in the process as we're wrapping up 2021 and we're moving into 2022. I want you to see the end of 2022. I want you to see the end. I want you to see the prosperity. And not only do I want you to see it, I want you to feel it. I want you to experience it. I want you to begin to walk in it in your mind. Walk in the end in your mind and feel it right now in this moment. And begin to scream to the universe. Scream to the universe what it is that you see, what it is that you're walking in, and what does that feel like? And if you take that feeling and you shape that feeling, the more you put that feeling out there, the more energy you're able to attract into yourself. The more you become a magnet for the thing that you said you want to be and do and have. You're moving in the right direction, because in this moment, you wouldn't have been drawn to this podcast. You wouldn't have been drawn to this episode. Maybe somebody shared it with you. But this is what you needed to hear, because forget the fear, forget the doubt, forget the anxiety, have courage, have faith, have belief, move in it. And yes, those things may be intangible, but they're powerful in a world that is not defined by physicality. Because our world isn't. Our world isn't defined by physicality. We may experience it as quote unquote real. But what is real? Real is what we say is real. Just that simple. And if you don't get it, you'll get it one day. You'll get it one day. So real is what we say it is. And last but not least, remember that you are not alone. Yes, you're a creator in this thing, but you are a co-creator. You're not alone. You're not alone in this process. The universe will always respond when you ask for help. The universe will always respond. And if it doesn't respond immediately, it's just not time. But you keep holding on to that courage, that faith, and that belief, and you keep moving and keep marching in that line and keep feeling the process and seeing from the end. But just remember, you are not alone. The universe is always conspiring with you, and you have to know that. You have to believe that. The universe is always conspiring with you. The universe is always working with you to that end. Always. And sometimes it's good to have, during this process, along this journey, sometimes it's good to have a mentor or a coach. And as you prepare to move into 2022, guess what? Get you a mentor, get you a coach. Find someone that has been there, done that. So whatever it is that you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to manifest in your life, find somebody that's manifested it. Find somebody that's manifested. If you're looking for more peace, find somebody that has experienced, going through the turmoils of life and now has more peace. Find you a mentor, find you a coach. The universe will always send help. Help is always available. It's just that simple. So have courage, have faith, believe in the process, trust the process. The infinite part of you is trying to do something amazing through your finite experience. The infinite part of you is really trying to do something amazing. Stop being afraid. There's nothing to be fearful of. Walk in your strength, walk in your power, and you're not alone. This has been AD for the Better Is Now podcast. I will see you guys in 2022. Share this podcast with somebody. Like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. I really appreciate it. We got work to do. I'll see you next year.
This is AD Roberts, and you have been listening to Better Is Now, the podcast. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for awesome programs and inspiring publications. Also, if you haven't yet, please subscribe to this podcast on your favorite platform like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or our very own Anchor. See you next time.